lot of questions on how do I do some of my effects that I do for SuperUnknownPerson, some effects that I've done on this channel. So what I want to do today is break down one of my most popular effects, which I guess is the Dino Charge Morph. This is super easy. You can basically do it on any program. I want to also show you guys how I take what SuperUnknownPerson gives me and then turn it into what you guys see on his YouTube channel. If you learn how to do the simple mechanics that I'm doing, you'll be able to do it on your program of choice. Anyways, let's jump into the tutorial, and let's hope it's actually entertaining and you guys like it, because I've been planning on doing these kind of tutorials for a while, but I just haven't had the time. So here we go. Let's go to pre-recorded Seth and not live video Seth. First of all, you're going to need an editing or compositing software that has blending modes. I personally use Adobe Premiere and After Effects, which is where this tutorial is mostly going to take place in. You're also going to obviously need your footage of you doing the morph, and you're going to need lens flares. I personally use a plugin called Optical Flares, which allows me to select and manipulate them the way I choose. However, if you don't have that, then you can obviously just go on Google and look up lens flares. Alright, let's get into the tutorial. Alright, let's first look over our footage. Everything seems to be in order. To break down kind of the shots that you need a close-up of the Dino Charger, close-up of the morpher opening, and then everything else is mostly the same kind of wide shot. Oh, also you need the Dino Charger entering the gun. So what I normally start off doing is going into the motion tracking in After Effects and tracking the motion of the Dino Charger. Now, I normally track the position and rotation. For those of you who don't have After Effects, you can easily do this by hand. Now, as you can see, we have a little bit of a problem with the track. You can see that it doesn't always attach to the eye because of one reason or another. I think in this particular case, it was because there was a lot of light hitting the sticker, and it confused the track, but you just go back in by hand and do all this. I'm going to fast forward a bit so you guys don't have to watch me do this. Once you think you have the track good enough, it doesn't have to be perfect. Create a null layer and then attach all your track footage to this null layer, which, as you can see, a little red square has all the information that we've gathered of the Dino Charger movement. So next, what we do is create a solid and pray After Effects doesn't crash. Then drag in our good old friend Optical Flares, which you can get from Video Copilot. And then what I do is take one of their preset, or one of their assets that they give you to make different lens flares, and just use it as the sort of glow that the Dino Charger gives off. Also what I do is I scale it up. I scale up the entire solid to about 150%, and then just my settings, and then hit quit the solid to the null, which gives the null, or gives the solid, all of the information that the null has. So the glow kind of follows the Dino Charger as it moves, and then after that you animate the glow of the Dino Charger by using keyframes. So normally what I do is it starts off with 0, and then I take 4 frames to let it turn on, and then 4 frames of just leaving it as fully on, and then 4 frames of turning it off. It just gives a nice fast glow, and then after that what I do is duplicate footage and then trim it so it's roughly 12 frames long, after the Dino Charger fully flips, and then I use a track mask to track the motion of the picture in the Dino Charger, just to make my life a little bit easier. Now I have a preset animation to just put on immediately, so the effect doesn't take me forever and I don't have to do it over and over again. However, for the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to just make it from scratch. So let's delete those. And then drop in, first of all, CC radial blur, which will give it that kind of streak glow look. And then I set the radial blur to fading zoom, and then you have to adjust the center a bit, and then after that I animate the amount, which again, it's 4 frames to 0, and then 4 frames to 100, another 4 frames at 100, and then 4 frames back to 0. It's a good timing. And then also I added another plugin from Video Copilot called VC Color Vibrance. This plugin is actually free. Yeah, and then as you can see, it just tints it red. And then I also animate the vibrancy to 0 and then back to whatever I felt like that was comfortable enough, and then back to 0. That's about it for the Dino Charger. As you can see, we have the entire little thing done. So next, we're going to work on the Glow of the Morpher, which is as easy, if not easier, than the Dino Charger, because if you didn't notice, I got that done pretty fast since I had been doing it for a while. This is also sped up double the speed of what it normally is. But again, like before, I just track the eye of the Morpher. And then as you can see here, I can't track the entire thing perfectly. So what I do is I track it as much as I can, create a null, attach the information to the null, and just hand animate the null to follow the eye for a couple frames. I'm gonna just fast forward a little bit more just so we can get through this. So then after that, I go back and add another solid, and I add another optical flares to it. Also, something that I completely forgot to do that you probably should do is label all of your layers so you don't get confused, because I always forget to label my layers. Anyways, I go back to optical flares, I place a flare. What I'm doing right now is animating the glow, which again, they're spread out 4 frames apart, which you can move frame by frame using the page up and page down keys. Now, what I'm doing here is I alt-click the stopwatch for the position, and then pit-quipped it to the position on the eye null. So as you can see, the glow follows the eye, and I didn't need to like scale it up and then just pit-quip the entire layer to it. Since we have this eye glow set up, really all I need to do is track this eye, which again, it kind of screws up, but then I can do this by hand, and it's really fast and easy. So I got all that tracking information down, and then I just choose the right null, put in the information, and I can just copy and paste the glow in a different area. I don't do this here. I could just copy and paste the animation, but I didn't because it had to be a different brightness because it was too bright for that specific shot. Again, this effect is super simple, and again, you don't need to use anything I use here. You can just use stock lens flares that you can find on Google. Now what we're going to do here is add the sparks to when you spin the barrel of the gun, which I found on YouTube a recording, the little sparkler things you can get in New Year's. If you have those, you can record it yourself, or you can find it on YouTube, and then I just animate, or I mask around it so I can get rid of like the stick, but then I go frame by frame and position the sparks to the barrel as he moves, which I find is just a faster way to do it instead of like tracking it, because tracking that barrel would be pretty difficult. It wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. I probably should do it, but I just find it way faster to do it by hand. And then after that, we're done. Like, that's it. That's all I do when I have to do a morph. So if we just play back here, you can see all the effects are done, and this whole thing took me like half an hour to do, which sounds like a long time, but it really isn't for everything that we just did. It's super simple. Something that I didn't talk about is turning the blending modes to screen. If you know anything about blending modes, then obviously if you have something under a black background, set your blending mode to screen, and then it gets rid of all that black and makes it transparent. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and if you guys want more tutorials, then just let me know. Okay, this is Seth Films, and I'll see you guys next video. Okay, bye.